the other countries go? So obviously, just watched European Championships, and obviously Bulgaria were a country that seemed to have a number of lifters, a number who the commentator I thought was very good. I think it was Michaela Breeze, was very open and honest about the number of people that had failed drug tests.
Well, she got a fair bit of backlash for that.
Well, I was just going to say that because I actually admired it. I don't know Michaela Breeze. I've met her a few times at lectures and stuff, but I actually admired what she said. Because as a viewer, I do want to know that. And I also was, and I said this to you the other day, was mistaken. I thought that the Olympics was once they'd failed a drug test, I thought they were lifebound, which is obviously wrong. We'll come on to I thought Michaela Breeze did a very good job in letting us know as the viewer that this person had just been popped and was now lifting even bigger weights than the last time they'd been popped.
I think a lot of people skirt around the issue a little bit and just try and avoid talking about it because it's so controversial and, you don't want to get any kind of repercussions for voicing your opinion or whatever.
I think more people should voice their opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And when you're an athlete that has to compete against these other athletes that have served bans or, have got a reputation because their country has had 5 bans in the last year and they're now not going to the Olympics and all this stuff, it's very, very challenging. And you do, over the years, we have lost motivation. We see a girl that's 3 body weight classes lower than ours, lifting a world record, and then gets a ban 2 years later. It's very demotivating because you think, how the hell am I going to compete with someone like that when I'm sticking to the rules and doing my best as a natural athlete?
Maybe we'll talk about that now. That was sort of a topic for later, but so I think to myself, are drugs in sport black and white or grey? So when I think I'm a little bit older now, but when I was younger, I was definitely very black and white. And then I had some experiences, say when I was in America, I think I mentioned one of these to you, where say in the NFL, if you sign a contract in American football, that might be worth 20 or 30 million. And I would meet young men in gyms who were preparing for the combine, which is like the test in the showcase. And they'd be living in a 1-bedroom shack in somewhere like Mississippi with their gran and 7 brothers and sisters. And the S&C coach might advise them to take a particular substance, which they were pretty open about doing, and their rationale was, well, listen, I can get my family out of the... And then I started to think, okay, well, it's still wrong and they still shouldn't do it, particularly in sports where I think you're inflicting damage. So obviously in the NFL, if I gain speed and muscle, then the velocity that I hit somebody might cause them more damage. So I definitely am still not on that side of it, but I always thought to myself, I can understand that, but I am still of the view that particularly in your sport, personally, I think people should be life banned because I think once they've used and achieved those gains, I think those gains stay with them. And people have different opinions, but to me, it should be a life ban. I think that's the only way that you'll ever clean the sport up because I think the science of drugs is so advanced, and there's all these Icarus documentaries and bits and pieces which kind of show how people do it, that I'm not sure the testers will ever completely catch up. So I think you need a very strong deterrent, which is that if you're caught, you're done. The counter to that is people that might have tainted supplements, which of course is what most people use as an excuse. So where do you stand on it? Do you think it should be life bans?
Yeah, I agree. It should be a complete life ban because you see it all the time. You see lifters still at the top of their game, having previously served a ban. There was a girl out at the Europeans in the 59 kilo class. I saw her in 2015 power snatch 110 kilos, but she won the Europeans this time, having, served her ban and done whatever else. And I think she snatched 96 kilos, so it was about 14 kilos down on her best, but she's still winning. So you can't say that you don't lose those benefits from whatever you've taken before.
I think the other thing I'd say is I've been around a number of athletes in different sports. I think sometimes that the general public assume it's purely the athlete that's made that decision. That's definitely not been my experience. My experience has always been that, say, whether it be governments, whether it be coaches, whether it be programs, that they are encouraged in many cases to use these things purely because, as you say, the country wants to win medals and the country wants to be successful. So I'm probably, because I'm slightly older now and I've got children and stuff, I think to myself I'm probably a bit more empathetic. But for me, it should be life bans. Once somebody's popped, particularly in your sport, get them out. No place for them.
Yeah, I think the people that are sticking to the rules, like myself and my teammates, we get tested so frequently. It's only fair that the rest of the world does the same.
Yeah.
But I do think perhaps the UK are one step ahead in terms of actually monitoring the athletes and keeping the sports clean.
Yeah. I also think with regards to things like sponsors and viewers and getting new people into the sport, if there is a stigma of drug use, I think that definitely puts people off.